So welcome to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by the coaches and clients of RT Fitness, Durham, Sunderland, the Barbell Club Online, everything we've got going on. And today's podcast is just going to be me solo. Coach Joe posted something in our group the other day, and I was supposed to be doing the podcast with him, but then I thought, time isn't going to work. So it's like, I've got some time now, so I am just going to blast it off. So here we go. Enjoy the show. If you like everything what we do, give it a share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the Spotify's, whatever else. It really helps us, and we always want to try and push these as often as we can. But as we own 3 gyms and the online coaching, we are very busy and we can never get these in like the weekly show that we originally wanted. But we will we will get to the time sometimes. But yeah, we found the time today to get this one done, and I think it's going to be a really big help, because we're going to go into what some of our clients have actually asked, what their struggles are, and then hopefully you might have those same struggles as well. And for those clients who did ask these, this is going to be that in-depth answer, hopefully, to what you're looking for. So here we go. So Joe put in our group. So Joe does a live every Thursday within our Facebook group, and that's for like our in-house clients who do our Team Carnage program. It's specifically towards them. So he's written like, evening, rather than doing a live tonight, I wanted to get some conversation, some topics from you in which I can make videos to help you all out. So below, give me your 5 biggest struggles, things you believe you struggle with the most with on your fitness journey, and then he'll come up with some videos which he believes is going to be the best methods to overcome these struggles and hurdles. So Joe will be obviously making some individual videos for these clients to go through it all. But as I read through them, where I have coached a few of yous on this, and I just wanted to elaborate on some of the things what we've said in the past, and obviously hopefully some hints and tips to move forward. So I'm not going to say names or anything like that, because it was within our private group. But here we go. So I mean, I'll make sure that I'm at the top all comments. Yeah. So I mean, the first one, everything. I mean, that's quite a pretty broad thing from there. So hopefully what other people have put in, we can help you out on the rest of them. So one here, work, motivation, working around kids. So work, like, not many people, not us obviously as coaches, can do anything about your work. But work's one of these things what you've got to sort of suck it up and see, really. It's like, if you're working these longer hours or getting held back, I think you've just got to put the boundaries in place from the start. Sometimes, like if you're a nurse or anything like that, then you can't. But if you can put them boundaries around it, so that, say, you can get your ass to the gym, then I would put them in and just say, like, look, this is my schedule, this is how it works. Or if you can get it done before work, or work takes over, then that's what you've got to do. When I was in my last job before I got into this area, I knew that I was leaving in a year's time, and I hated the place. And it was just like, I'm going there to make money. They pay me X amount for X amount of work I do. Go in, be the best, smile, whatever they say, you just do. You're there. That's what I was getting paid for. And it was like, I'm not going to argue, I'm just going to do it, because that's what I was there for. I got a job, I got there to be paid. I didn't go there to not do what they asked. So it was like, I sort of switched my mindset around and actually made that last part of my journey with them a lot easier, instead of like keep fighting them and like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. It was like, yeah, I'm just going to do everything they ask, and that was it. Because at the end of the day, they were exchanging me money for time, and that's what it was. So yeah, that's what I did about my work. Motivation's always going to come and go, and it's always about like, are you in enough pain now of what, say, your physique is or anything like that, to make those changes, Because if the pain isn't enough, then the changes are never going to happen, and then you're always going to be blaming it on motivation. But if the motivation is to, say, get in shape for a holiday or get in shape for wedding, Christmas, whatever it is, then you've got to like really zone in on it, and you've just got to keep going and going and going. Motivation comes and goes. And when we look at, say, down our Instagram news feeds or anything like that for some external motivation, it does help, but it only has a very, very short lifespan. It might motivate you to get into the gym that morning, and then something will pop up again and again and again. So it's just about making, again, like those smaller habits to be able to like fit things in so that the motivation is always there. Just make things a little bit easier. It's like, I don't know, setting yourself a stupid step target of 20,000 steps per day. Well, why do that? Set yourself a 10,000, and then it's always going to be easier to hit. Then the motivation doesn't need to be as high, because when you start failing these things, then you'll always end up dropping off. But yeah, you can get, but same external motivation, like I said, it does help. Look down your Instagram feed, see some motivational things. Don't let people see other things put you down as well. It's like if you're seeing other people get great results, use that as a booster. Whenever I see, say, another gym doing really well, it's like, fuck, how are them doing that? That's what I want to understand that. And it should be the same with you. It's like if you see somebody, say, within the group getting some brilliant results, it's like, ask them, what did you do? And it's like, they'll generally say all the same things, track the food, turned up to the sessions, blah, blah, blah. But you can use that as a motivator rather than a demotivator. I think I waffled on a bit there on the motivation one. Just from a one-word thing. Working around kids. Now, working around kids, it is currently the 6 weeks holidays as of recording this. We have exactly the same struggles because me and Sarah both work within the same business. So we're having to each individually take care of Castor whilst the other works, and then swap and then swap and then swap and then swap. And then for us to go to the gym around that on top, like for our training, I go in first while she looks after Castor, and then she's currently now like switch over. She's bringing Castor, drives to Castor to the gym, and then I'll jump in Sarah's car, and then I'll drive back. So it's just a quick switch over. He has to come up in the car, he doesn't leave the car, and then back. And that's what we're having to do to get our 4 sessions in per week. So that it is what it is. But if you've got a supportive partner at home or supportive family who's going to help you on the journey, then just make sure that they're always on board and just say like, this is the time for me. This is the time to get away from the kids. This is the time to work on myself. So yeah, you've just got to, same again, put those boundaries in place with working around kids. And know that it's the time for you. At the end of the day, working around time for kids or like putting, say, the kids first sometimes, you just got to put yourself first. It always puzzles us like when parents will like sign kids up to 10 classes or something over the course of a week, but they haven't put that time for themselves, and it's like, no, they've got to do this, they've got to do this. They fucking don't. They probably couldn't give a shit for half of them. They're just going to piss about. And then sometimes they're like, I can't be bothered, and then you'll be like, I've paid for this, you've got to go. It's just make the time for yourself and then do the kids stuff. Because if they've got an unfit, unhappy, unhealthy parent, then it's going to rub off on them eventually. So it's the whole seatbelt, what is it, the mask scenario on an airplane. Like, look after yourself first so that you can look after others. So another one, time. Struggle with working full time, studying part time, applying for jobs, home life, downtime, well-being, and then having to make time for batch cooking, tracking, and fitting in steps. Most days I finish work on 3,000 and don't have 2 hours each night to make up the difference. And hormone issue, and adding hormones issue, and hubby loves a good pasty and a fitness watch that lets me levitate the gym and back. The gods are against me and my waistline. So time again, well, it seems as though you're fitting in too much. like working full-time, studying part-time, applying for jobs. So and then obviously the stuff to do in the house. It's getting the priorities in place, and at the minute, like everything here is obviously having a backlash effect on your health, which is never a good thing. So we've got to find that balance of actually what it is you most want in life. Is this just short term? Then happy days. But if we're say going into more courses and more courses on top after this, then you're going to have to really think about, like, is it worth it? Because if your health keeps declining while you're trying to create something better, but you're not going to be able to enjoy it, then what's the point? So you've got to prioritize what's going to be more beneficial to you in the long run. Is it going to be the health, or is it going to be that, say, a little bit extra money? Obviously, if you're applying for new jobs, obviously you're wanting a better job. Will that job be a better role in which you can fit in your health and fitness more? Then these are the things what you've got to look at. For the time for batch cooking, this is such an easy one, because it's like if you're not batch cooking, then you'll generally be cooking every day. And if you're cooking every day, that's what, like 30, 45 minutes per day, every day? When batch cooking is one of the greatest time savers ever, because you can batch cook a lot of meals within an hour. Like I could do, like say my take a chicken recipe, what I eat loads, you might have heard us bang on about it. But that one, like, yes, it takes time to marinate for that, but it only takes us like 15 minutes to cut up and like for the marinade, and then a few hours later, it just takes a couple of blasts now in the air fryer. I was using the oven before, but even that would be done in 2 25-minute slots in the oven. And that would be, I think, 14 portions of chicken in there, which I can use for wraps, a curry, whatever else. Generally what people do because of batch cooking, they're making it too complex, and it doesn't need to be complex. Like last night, I made I call it the cheap ass chili. It's a jar of chili sauce, lean mince, and the rice cooker, and that's it. And that's 4 meals made 15 minutes. That's it. 4 meals made, 2 for one night, 2 for the next. Simple. All the other foods in between, they don't even have to be batch cooked. You can have like, I'm a proper wrap guy at the minute, and like a ham and cheese wrap, like it takes 0 prep time or anything. It's 5 slices of ham, some protein cheese, a little bit sriracha sauce, roll up, eat. You can have these on the night if you're struggling for time. We don't have to have these big hearty meals on a night. We can bring it back to basics. You can have a sandwich on a night. Like, it's going to be under 500 calories. And as long as you're putting enough protein in those meals, it's going to be there. It's just we're overcomplicating it and thinking that this batch cooking has to take hours. It doesn't. If I was stuck in the kitchen for an hour plus batch cooking, well, it wouldn't get done. But then you've got to look at the time saved, because of, like, say if it did take us an hour, if it took us an hour, then that hour is just saved me all them other, like for 4 nights, say, that saved me 4 half hours, which would normally take us 2 hours to cook everything else. And generally, if I'm cooking other things, it's going to be heartier than what the batch cooking would be. So I think you've just got to strip down whatever you are batch cooking and make it easier and simpler. And that's it. It's a scary one, because I hear this a lot about people don't have time for batch cooking, and they take half hour on the meal on the night, they cook the breakfast, they'll probably eat out for lunch, like something easy, or a quick packed lunch or something like that. But then it's the same people who happily wait 45 minutes to an hour for a takeaway, and it's like, well, what are you doing in that time? So yeah, just any type, batch cooking is a time saver, and that's how we should think of it, the other way around. And then with, you're saying here, the tracking, so tracking your food. If you've batch cooked, then you've saved your meals within the app. And if you saved your meals within the app, tracking is easy, and that's it. Because what we're always trying to teach people is have your rotation of, it's just as simple as 3 different breakfasts, 3 different lunch, 3 different teas. And then if all of them are saved in your app and you consistently rotate those meals around forever, then tracking's easy. Like, I could literally go on my phone now and track a day's worth of food in under 3 minutes, because everything is saved as the meals what I have on a day-to-day basis. So that's how you've got to look at it. So batch cooking is one of these things what's going to save you time, and if you're batch cooking you can save your meals, and that the tracking is going to save you time. So there's no excuses on those two fronts. Fitting in steps, most days I finish work on 3,000 and don't have 2 hours each night to make up the difference. It's one of them things, it's the same again, it's like if you can, steps is one of those tough ones for people, but there is little moments in the day, because we're not going to be completely sat still from say 8 in the morning till let's an extreme 6 at night. That's a 14-hour shift. We're not going to be completely sat down in those times. Anytime we can get a break. So what I've recently been doing is, when I've been stuck pretty much to the laptop, is I've set like a timer, and if I haven't moved in that hour and a half, I'll jump on the stepper for 20 minutes. I think it was an hour and a half I set it for. Yeah, an hour and a half, and then it was like 20 minutes. I knew I was there all day, so it was like, okay, for every hour and a half, I'll do 20 minutes, every hour and a half. And I ended up doing like a full hour's walk on it. So that helped me with that, because I was working from home. So you could do similar things to that, but any type of little thing you can get, do it. And then if not, you use the weekend to completely ramp them steps up as best as you can, 20, 30,000 on those days. And don't just think, well, I need a rest from all of the week. It's not, you just got to find that time. Like, you can just rebuild them in, and then you wouldn't have that issue. But it's like weekends, I don't feel as though weekends are there to be resting. I feel as though they should be like an active rest. It's like, there's nothing better than when it comes to a weekend, going out for a long walk, the first thing you do, and then chill, because you know you've earned that chill as well. I'd hate to think Saturday night, after I've maybe indulged a little bit over the weekend, is that I've only hit like say 2,000 steps that day. If I know I'm getting 10, 15,000 in on the morning straight away, it's like I feel as though like I can indulge that bit and just feel good about it as well. Hubby who loves a good pasty. Well, I know your hubby was on the same mission as you, so he's fell off somewhere as well, so he needs to get back to supporting you on this journey and get back to it with you. And then if he's on it with you, happy days. Balancing busy social life. Sometimes you get a few months where you have nothing but plans, holidays, weekends away, nights out, birthdays. It is. I highly believe that we all should have a great social life, and it's one of the things what keeps us going. And sometimes we can't help it when there is some back to back to back to back to back. But this is the balance what I sort of see. We should be dieting all year round, or what you perceive as dieting all year round, because there's that many social events pop up that ends up being the balance. And where say people think like, when can I have like a cheat meal or a cheat night out, a cheat tea, just don't. Just think of all the birthday parties, the christenings, the weddings, the meetups. Those are like, say, what you would call your cheat days. And if you looked at it like that, so everything else you just like say 100% on it all the way throughout the year. But then when these things happen, then you're fine to do whatever you want because you've done it. And it ends up being obviously across the course of the year, like that huge 80-20 rule. But if people are having, say, like they've done well for a week, so they have a takeaway on a Saturday, well, those social events are still going to happen on top. So you're just always going to be in that same rut all the time. And yeah, I mean, people who do that, it's like, right, well, I've had a takeaway, or they've done 2 weeks good, and it's like, right, well, I'm going to have a night out. It's like, you're going to have a night out for what? To celebrate you've done what you're supposed to do? It's ludicrous. But the balance of it should be, if you know you've got all of these things happening in your life, it's like, I know that I've got a load of things coming up soon, but I'm not going to not enjoy them. I'm going to enjoy them to the fullest, even though I'm actually in a shred phase myself. And I know that I've just got to be consistently on it until these events, and then I just enjoy the events. That's it. And I don't think about it, because I know, like, I've dropped weight. Yeah, I'll gain a tiny bit on that one day. I just don't let it go into 2 days, 3 days, or anything like that. And if there's anything what I don't need to have on these things, like a meal out and say a night out all in one, like, I wouldn't have a starter or a dessert if I know I'm drinking on top. You've just got to find those little balances and just keep being good all year round. So these quite seem very broad, to be fair. Steps. So this one, steps, calorie counting, protein counting, treats, more treats. One at a time, eh? So steps is like, same again what I've said, it's just you've got to make that time, and you know you can, and if not, you just hit them bigger on the weekend. Calorie counting, just start calorie counting, just start adding them into the app, keep going and do it. Protein counting, well, when you're calorie counting, you're going to see how many grams of protein is going in there, and at the end of the day, protein portions, your chicken, fish, meat, your yogurts, eggs, egg whites, whatever else. Like, you just got to think of that big portion of protein with every single meal, and then your protein is going to naturally come up itself. Treats, you're not a fucking dog. More treats, you're definitely not a dog. You don't need them. I mean, what you're treating yourself for? It's mad. I mean, it comes from a habit what we've been installed from kids, have been saying, this is a treat, this is a treat. And now when we're adults, it's like anything we do, it's like, oh, I get a treat. So yeah, you don't need it. Right now, steps, young Joe. Work is getting in the way as I'm so busy. I'm trying my best to use an hour on a Wednesday. I'd usually be training to do a walk, but end up in the park with my little lad and thought I could boss the monkey bars. Steps, yeah. I mean, steps. I know this person has a stepping pad, so same again. If you can jump on for like 20 minutes at a time, something like that, do it. Obviously, going to the park is a great thing in any way. Like, playing with a lad at the park's excellent. You're moving then in any way. But same again, make it up on a weekend. That's it. I know this person has had the time to do it in the past and has bossed it. So just do what you were doing before. Another one, all of the above, please. It's mad. All of the above, you've seen very, very, very broad things. I think I'll answer another one. My thing is consistency. I struggle with routine as I crave novelty. Add stress into the mix, and I'm only one bad meeting away from trophying a bar of Galaxy. So tricks to maintain consistency and stay on plan is one I'd like to see, please, and thank you. Consistency, you know your goals. If your goal is X, that's it. Trophying a bar of Galaxy, well, you should never be just trophying a bar of Galaxy, because that comes down to actually buying the bar of Galaxy first. And if we can obviously switch that to the habit of, say, protein bars just in the house, then happy days. If you've got shit in the house, you'll eat the shit. And there's like hardly ever an excuse to have shit in the house. If you don't have shit in the house, nobody can eat it. That's it. And as soon as there's anything in the house what is constituted is what I call shit. It's like, it will get ate. It's like just having COVID last week. If there was crap in the house, me and Sarah would have consumed the lot, but there hasn't been. So that's been like sort of a saving grace. I would have ate anything like sugary last week, anything. But luckily there wasn't anything in the house to have. There was protein bars in the house, but like, I don't want to be eating loads of them. Maybe it's because I'm a tight fucker, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you've got to swap out these habits for something else. And consistency, struggle with routine, crave novelty. What is the like novelty factor? What's the novelty factor of failing? That's the question there. It's like, what's the novelty factor of failing? Because the novelty factor of everything else is you're going to get results. And consistency in that, like, I don't get what's going to be consistently better. I don't understand how the other stuff is consistently better when the other stuff is taking you further away from what your actual goals are. So that's how you've sort of got to look at it. Is the consistency of being a dick getting to where I want to be, or taking us further away? It's taking you further away. Is the consistency of what you should be doing taking to the happy place where you truly want to be? Then yeah, so that is the novelty. That's the goal, what you're chasing. Look at that goal, what was there before. Like, it wasn't even a goal, it was what you were. So just stop thinking that the novelty and this consistency is going to be better, when the future you is always going to be the best. So that's what you've got to look at, and that's what's going to maintain the consistency. There's never need to fall onto a bar of Galaxy, ever, because it does nought for you. Last one, trying to stick to it all. Some days I can't get my calories of protein in due to work lately. I don't know why, but I've just been snacking loads. I've not been well. Usual bugs pick up lately and missed a fair few sessions. But there you go. It's like, don't know why, but you've been snacking loads, so you've missed a few sessions and you've had a bug, so you're out of sync. If you hadn't had the bug and you hadn't missed the sessions, you wouldn't be snacking. It's just that little bit of boredom factor in the middle there. And obviously the feeling sorry for yourself because you've got the bug. It's like I would have if I had the snacks. So it's same again, like, stop buying the stuff, the snacks or whatever, and then you won't snack on them. If they're not there, you won't have them. And because now you're out of routine, that's always going to kill it off. But one of the things within that, it's like hitting the gym itself, how we like to hit it 4 times a week, keeps you in such a solid routine. And when you start missing the sessions, all the new habits go out the window. They completely disappear. They go, even missing that one session, because I know how obviously we run Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. If that's Saturday, Sunday, yeah, if you've obviously survived that weekend without being a dick, if you're off on that Monday, it's a fuck it mentality straight away. And I can never sort of understand it personally, because I've got a lot of ingrained good habits around nutrition. So it's been a very long time since I've had fuck it moments. So yeah, it is just one of them things. It's like, you'll be back on track, you're going to feel better, get back to that solid routine, get into every single session, and then everything else falls into place. It's one of our main habits here. It's actually number one main habit, what I always tell people, is get into your gym sessions, because when you get into your gym sessions, everything else falls into place. Yeah, I hope I've answered them well enough for people, and I hope I've elaborated on it good enough. And obviously Joe will hopefully make some micro videos for you all on it. But this was my take on it all, and I hope you've taken something away from it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the show as well. Any questions you might have, what you want answering as well on this, just give us a shout and we'll get it sorted. Cheers.